must do is embrace the vision.
What's good, Vision Gang? You already know what it is, and if you didn't know, you better find out, because I am your boy, DaVizion, and I'm back again with another MMA reaction. Today, I'm about to be reacting to UFC 297, Strickland Vs Du Plessis, a deeper dive. This video is done by The Fighting Business, and I'm really hoping to get some valuable information out of this. I'm hoping that I can get some expert analysis, some analytical data, and just all the information I'm gonna need to make a sound decision in my choice of who's gonna win this fight, y'all. I wanna be right. This is my first time ever picking a UFC fight, and I'm probably going a little bit too much on it, but I really want to be right. So that's why I'm watching all these highlights. I'm watching this deeper dive video, and I'm gonna make a decision real soon. Not today, but tomorrow. Y'all gonna get that video right before the fight come out tomorrow afternoon sometime, and I'm gonna tell y'all who I think is gonna win this fight, and I just hope that I'm gonna be right on it. I'm not a betting man. I don't bet money or none of that. It's just not my thing. So I'm not betting or none of that. So that's not the purpose of doing all this. I love this sport, and I think part of, for me at least, loving a sport is knowing as much as possible about it and being able to predict stuff. I'm like that with the NBA, the NFL. I know enough about those sports and the teams and the players on those teams and the coaching and the styles of coaching to really make sound decisions when I'm making choices to who's gonna win championships, playoff matchups, tournaments, whatever. I'm usually spot on in those sports, and I'm trying to be the same way in the UFC. So I need all the analytical data. I need all the expert opinions. I need to watch all the highlights so I can formulate my own opinions. And hopefully this video gives me that. So without any further ado, I'm done talking about this. I'm about to go ahead and watch this. So let's get this thing started.
Women are very strong. They're very strong. But women are weak. You know, women are fucking weak. My manager, Tim, he's like this big, tough Izzy for a living, and you know, he could probably have Ronda Rousey.
Sean Strickland is the face of the middleweight division.
That's kind of true.
You heard it right. Each time
Maybe.
Strickland grabs a microphone,
depending if he trains or not.
Deep breath and praise to God. And when Sean defies him,
Yeah, I don't give a fuck about that belt. I just want to make motherfuckers bleed.
Dana asks himself the same question we've been asking ever since UFC 293. How the hell did this happen? At UFC 297, the new champion attempts his first defense of the title he took from Adesanya, and the challenger got his spot by knocking out Robert Whittaker. Yeah, a middleweight championship showdown is right around the corner, and no Adesanya or Whittaker in sight.
Yeah, oh, I got a nerve. I see I hit a nerve there. Yeah, you did hit a nerve, you bitch.
Happened out of nowhere. But that's the middleweight division in a nutshell. Welcome to the Fighting
Crazy division.
We're officially on the road to UFC 300, and I see a few exhausting deeper dives coming my way. This pay-per-view, however, is a little on the fight night level, but that one at the top is something I'd be happy to talk about all day. And that's exactly what I'm going to do.
Man, I am so excited about this fight, y'all. This is gonna be my first time, me personally ordering a pay-per-view and really paying attention to it in great detail. I'm like so excited about this.
Alex Pereira was the champion. Israel Adesanya was guaranteed an immediate rematch. Robert Whittaker was the championship guardian, and then there were the lowly middleweight contenders, those who were just not good enough to compete with the three monsters roaming and guarding the mountaintop. Not a single one had a prayer, especially these two. I mean, can you even imagine? UFC 287 went down in April, and Israel Adesanya finally found that one shot. Shocking, but in hindsight, it made sense. UFC 290 in July, and the middleweight division shifted following one of the most surprising upsets in recent memory. Surreal, but not total insanity.
So
UFC
I'm guessing Dricus was a big underdog to Robert Whittaker, is what I'm getting from this video. Somebody let me know down below what you guys think. I'm guessing he's accurate. I just haven't seen much of Robert Whittaker. I've heard the name. Probably need to react to him. So I'm kind of shocked that he was even considered a big three with Izzy and Pereira. So yeah.
293 in September, and total fucking insanity.
No! Israel got beat. Oh my goodness.
Unbelievable.
Insane.
He fucking
Craziest upset I've ever seen.
That wild motherfucker is a middleweight champion of the world.
In a span of a few months, the 185-pound division was flipped upside down. turned inside out and twisted in the most insane ways possible.
Whenever we started swinging and banging and he threw some punches, and I was like, man, that was really like predictable. That was really easy to see. Like, that came from a mile away. Like, I'm a way better boxer than you. Let's fight.
He didn't get touched. Not touched. He didn't get touched. He got like a couple of jabs snuck in and barely touched him.
But the path ahead was clear. Sean Strickland versus Dricus du Plessis, with gold on the line. Du Plessis made his UFC debut in 2020, and he is undefeated in the promotion. 6 fights, 5 finishes. Stellar record for a prospect, but Dricus
6 fights, 5
as
finishes.
a championship-level fighter. Too wild and fundamentally flawed, they said, despite the unbeaten run and entertaining fights.
He's a very physical fighter, but there's a ton of holes in his game. He can't make the mistakes in his fight with Whitaker that he made against Derek Brunson.
Victories over Darren Till and Derek Brunson did little to convince the masses, but during all of this, DDP got Israel to notice him, and a potential grudge match opened up a path for Dricus. One more victory over any other contender, and the title shot was certain.
Yeah.
But Dricus wanted to earn the spot, and so he challenged Robert Whitaker.
Robert Whitaker is one of the most technically proficient fighters we have in the UFC, not just the middleweight division. Skill for skill.
Whitaker had only lost to Israel at 185, and he was the heavy favorite to win against yet another unfortunate contender. He was too technically sound and just levels above DDP, the slow and sloppy brawler who had kept fluking wins, but his luck was going to run out against Whitaker. Well, I was wrong. We were all wrong.
Again, I'm not defending myself because I was just flat wrong on Du Plessis. I think he leveled up.
Dricus didn't look outclassed in any second of the fight. He hung in there with a former champion and handled Whitaker on the ground, and eventually, in the second, he got it. A knockout victory against Bobby Knuckles of all middleweights. The unlikely contender was now definitely getting that title.
So I think I'm eating my words already, y'all. Robert Whitaker was a former champion, so was he a former UFC champion? I don't think I've watched anything that showed him in that position. Correct me if I'm wrong, but yeah, so he definitely is the real deal. I need to react to him, honestly, because I'm really interested in learning about him now.
Title shots, and the post-fight scene with Israel was another stamp on his claim.
I'm African, but I ain't no brother of yours, son.
Now, all he had to do was fight once again in a couple of weeks. That was the plan, but Dricus was injured, and he said no. The main event slot for UFC 293 in Australia was still vacant. Adesanya was definitely going to be a part, but who else?
I was a little bit disappointed that Dricus' fight fell through, but it wasn't for long. I'm happy to get Sean. I begged the UFC to give Sean this fight.
Sean Strickland had a rather terrible 2022. He was knocked out by Poatan and lost a close decision to Jared, but he began 2023 on a good note, beating Nasruddin Imavov in January and Abus Magomedov in July. I'm sure the UFC wasn't too thrilled, but Strickland was the only choice, and the main event for UFC 293 was set. Adesanya versus Strickland. Strickland, as expected, slaughtered Israel in the lead up to the fight.
It's a uphill fight. Tall man,
Yeah.
tall big boxer, dude, but
We've seen this. This is a famous press conference.
I'm ready.
But as long as Israel embarrassed him in the octagon, no one was going to remember what Sean said or who he was. And there was no chance in hell that Strickland would pull off the upset of the year. Alright, I'm done believing anything when it comes to MMA. I know nothing. That one knockdown and Israel was lost on the back foot as Strickland walked him down and beat him in almost every exchange. He was so confident that in the fifth, Strickland yelled at Israel to give him a fight because the main event of UFC 293 wasn't a fight. It was a domination, something none of us saw coming.
Hey babe, do you want to go to a show tonight? Don't worry, it's included.
Yeah, I don't think nobody expected that, man.
I'm shocked, just like the rest of the world. Sean went in and did his thing, and he did what he said he was going to do.
He beat one of the greatest middleweights of all time.
New champion and new contender at 185. And it didn't take long for the UFC to set up the most obvious fight. Strickland versus Dricus du Plessis at UFC 297. Strickland was happy with this, as he considered DDP the rightful contender. So we were in for a pretty respectful build.
Your dad doesn't have shit on me. I'm gonna show you what it's like to dragon. I mean, every childhood memory you have is gonna come back.
Until that happened, the press conference started with class, but it came to an end with Strickland threatening to take Dricus' soul.
I will take your fucking soul, you understand me, you fucking pussy?
For the first time, Sean was visibly affected, and that exchange actually made him mad enough that he looked Dricus in the eye during the face-off. And then these two got into an actual brawl at UFC 296.
Oh, he's still being told that Strickland asks Gilbert Burns' son to move. Oh, and
Oh, wow.
oh my goodness. Oh, wow.
Well, at least he told it.
Out of nowhere.
When I saw the kid there, I knew he was about to fight Dricus right there. I'm thinking like Sean did not just jump over that kid and started fighting. He asked the kid and the woman to get out the way. Big shout out to Sean for that, because that's class. I mean, that's class inside of trash, if you know what I mean. If it makes any sense, because still a trashy thing to do, fighting in the crowd and stuff. Not my cup of tea. But he asked the lady and the kid to get out the way, and I can respect that.
I don't know what humans you can sit Strickland next to, but definitely not Du Plessis.
And here we are now, the champion against the rightful challenger, but there's a little extra edge now. Championship match with bad blood, gold in the modern UFC, and having gone through the story, we move towards the matchup. In Strickland, you have the fundamentally sound and defensively aware striker who had the cardio and the experience to punch you in the face for 25 minutes. Opposite to him, you have Dricus du Plessis, berserker who doesn't give a shit about your defense, but as demonstrated in his most recent fight, DDP is far more technical and cerebral than we all thought. If you can hang with Whitaker on the feet, you're good enough, and everything the guy throws, punches, kicks, ground and pound is devastating. It's cardio against power. Dricus lands one big shot, or Strickland sets the pace, puts the challenger on the back foot, and it is a long and exhausting slaughter. In grappling, we really don't know. Dricus has shown a lot more success with his grappling, while Sean barely wrestles. Rumors are, though, he is a pretty competent wrestler himself, and he has only been taken down a handful of times at 185. Given the animosity, though, I think Dricus will only shoot for takedowns when he sees no success on the feet. And that brings up the last point. Psychological warfare. Intended or not, it is at play here. Strickland is definitely pissed off, and you've never seen the champion this hostile and aggressive. He usually looks around, but as mentioned before, he stared at Dricus with a look that could kill. To be honest, this is the only must-watch part of the pay-per-view, but as we've explored, this middleweight fight is MMA at its finest. Two fighters in their prime, two of the best middleweights on the planet, fighting for gold and glory against the backdrop of hatred and bad blood. The unlikely champion versus the unlikely contender, a clash we never saw coming, at least on this stage, the biggest stage, with the championship on the line. After the Adesanya era, this is the matchup that pushes the middleweight division into the next stage. Who saw this coming? But history has shown us 185 is just that chaotic, and you can expect more of that when these two finally meet in the middle of the octagon.
Alright, y'all. That was UFC 297 Strickland vs. Du Plessis, a deeper dive. And no, it was not the technical breakdown I wanted. It was not an expert analysis. It was basically a great build-up. It showed each fighter's journey to getting to this point. It showed, now that they're at this point, all the animosity they have towards each other, all the anger that has been built up, all the hype that has been built up for this fight, which got me even more hyped to see this fight. One thing I did learn, Dricus definitely is a power fighter, and Sean is more technical and depends on his cardio and pacing the fight. So it's power versus pacing, and it's gonna be a good one. I can just tell. I hope it's not a real short fight. I hope it's not one-sided. I hope we get a real classic fight right here. I hope you guys are enjoying this channel. If you guys are enjoying the channel, make sure you subscribe to the channel if you haven't already done so. Hit that notification bell to be first to see the videos, and smash that like button to send this video to the moon. And as always, you guys, be safe. Give it your all in whatever you're doing in life, and I'm gonna see you next time. It's your boy DaVizion, and I'm out. Peace.